Body modifications. We've all seen them. People with piercings all over their face, dyed hair, tattoos all over their body. Even men and women who have cosmetic surgery. Some people even go so far as to put implants in their body, such as in their face, or whiskers in their face. This kind of body art dates back thousands of years, and it's not only a form of self-expression, but it's also been used for cultural purposes and medicinal purposes. In the article titled Ultimate Answers to Proximate Questions, Rachel Carmen, Amanda Guitar, and Haley Dillon describe influential factors of modifying your body. These include being part of a certain culture or tribe, having particular religious beliefs, or just being raised in an area, raised by parents who teach you this is okay. They also describe medicinal purposes. To elaborate a little bit more, Terrence Cronin Jr. discusses medicinal purposes in his article, Tattoos, Piercings, and Skin Adornments. In this article, they describe Otzi, the Iceman, who is a mummy that's 5,300 years old, found between Italy and Austria. He was found to have tattoos along his spine and on his wrists, as well as other parts of his body. Many people believe that Otzi's tattoos were for decoration purposes or just because he was part of a culture, but upon further evidence, it was found that they were used for medicinal purposes, such as acupuncture and to relieve pain. Moving on, Cronin describes different forms of tattooing and body modification. The first thing he describes in his article is scarification. These are some pictures of Africans in particular tribes who have been cut and marked by scarification. Really interesting. Cronin then goes on to discuss different forms of tattooing. The first form he discusses is traumatic tattoos. This includes, like, if you fall off your bike, you get a cut on your leg, you get a scar. That's a traumatic tattoo because you experienced a traumatic event to get it. Other things that fall into this category include genital mutilation and circumcision, because these are involuntary forms of body modification. The next form that he describes is amateur. This includes things such as giving yourself tattoos with a pen and needle or India ink. It also includes prison tattoos or anything that doesn't have like a lot of detail or anything like that. The next form is professional form. These are tattoos that we see a lot of. They're expensive, such as the koi fish that we see on people. They're really detailed and really beautiful. The final form that Cronin discusses is cosmetic tattoos. Many people get cosmetic tattoos in order to change their appearance, such as cosmetic surgery, getting makeup completely tattooed on your face. It's also been said that cosmetic tattoos consist of breast cancer patients getting nipples tattooed on them because they lose them in cancer. Other forms are completely changing your identity, such as the skeleton man, who is completely turned himself into a skeleton. The tiger man, who has modified his teeth and his entire facial structure. He has whisker implants. And then other forms of implants under the skin. These are the different kinds of body modifications, at least that Cronin describes. The Smithsonian magazine also describes that body modification is used to label people with status, slavery, and medicine. For instance, this woman has tattoos on her face and it marks her being in slavery, how many times she's been sold, and to make sure that she's also not going to run away. Other ways of labeling people with body modifications include, in some cultures, they mark their women for maturity level. They say, oh, she's old enough to get married, so let's cut her up with scars on her face. Or she's old enough to have a baby, let's give her another one. They're also affiliated with gangs. Many gangs will have tattoos all over them to say, oh, I'm part of this gang. Something that you can all recognize is the Holocaust. In the concentration camps, they put serial numbers on the people so that they knew who was who. I'll conclude my presentation with a discussion on how body modifications are used for forensics. As we talked about Otzi, he had tattoos on his spine, and we discussed that they were used for medicinal purposes. This not only shows that body modification was around 5,300 years ago, but also that they were using forms of medicine to relieve pain. William Mallon and Marie Russell also described that forensic specialists use tattoos and body modifications to identify dead bodies, identify people who died because of gang-related activities, and to identify people who may have medical issues from putting themselves at risk of a needle, such as HIV or hepatitis. I hope you guys learned a little bit about body modification with this presentation. Thank you for listening.